If you're planning your trip to Japan and you want to do something a little different, let me suggest the Nakasendo Trail. 330 miles stretching through the mountains, connecting Kyoto to Edo, or modern-day Tokyo. The Nakasendo was one of the 5 major highways of the Edo period. Yeah, the same era as the TV show, Ryokan. Whenever I'm traveling, as much as the cities, attractions, the social media and friend-recommended must-dos seem essential, I also want to see places that don't feel as accessible to the average tourist. So I carved out 4 days and 3 nights in the middle of my 2-week trip to Japan and pointed myself towards the Nakasendo. This trip was full of nature hikes through small rural towns, the most delicious food, and plenty of onsen soaks. So yeah, tuck in, and I hope you enjoy my little adventure. Hello, hi, and good morning. It's very rainy this morning, and it has been for the last couple days, but let's get into the Nakasendo Trail. So you can either start the trail from Tokyo or Kyoto or anywhere along the route, but if you're like us, you started from Osaka. Many will suggest Kyoto and Tokyo as your primary destinations for visiting Japan. And while both destinations are primary destinations for a reason, Osaka was truly an amazing experience. It has endless food options, a healthy hustle and bustle culture, and a friendly nature of the people that just totally won me over. To start the trail, you can hop on the Shinkansen to Nagoya and then connect to the historic Magome-tsumago section of the trail. It is one of the most well-preserved and popular stretches of the hike, so that is where we began our journey. Magome was quaint and not too crowded. It was raining a bit, so we popped into a restaurant for some soba to warm up and to wait for the rain to pass. The town felt like you were being transported into another time. Well, the rain wasn't letting up, so we grabbed some coffee and matcha from this cafe, Hillbilly, and then set out on our hike.
Thank you.
From Magome to Tsumago, it's about 8 kilometers or 4 or 5 miles. Honestly, I'm so bad with conversions. There were all these water wheels in Magome and waterfalls and creeks all along the hike. It felt so relaxing. The trail was a mix of cobble, dirt, and stone, and there were signs, rest areas, and bathrooms everywhere on the path, so it felt essentially impossible to get lost. And I just loved how green everything was. Lots of moss, again, waterfalls and cascades. It really was such a relaxing experience coming from the frenetic energy of Osaka. Had to make mine. Girl needs a lot of luck. Tsumago was sweet and quaint, and it was wild to learn it had once been considered a cosmopolitan town by Edo-era standards. Today, it's filled with little shops catering to tourists and plenty more water wheels. We walked around until sunset and then caught our ride to the hotel Fukinomori. I will say, though, that it was not my favorite place. I did not really enjoy the food. I mean, the staff was really nice. However, I will be honest and say that the food was not my favorite. The stuff that I thought I would like was very mid, and then the other options and flavors were a little out there for my palate, but I did manage to try the horse sashimi. Yeah. I didn't dislike it, but I couldn't really get past the fact that I was eating raw horse. But Alas, at night I slept like a baby, and you know, there's no nightlife, there's no noise except for the sound of the rain. And in the morning we had a serviceable breakfast, and then we made our way back to Tsumago to begin the next leg of our trek. From Tsumago, we hopped back on the nakasendo towards Nagiso. The clouds, they were opening up and the sun was warming us, and we had a couple kilometer trek into Nagiso.
Is it good?
I call it a little astringent. I guess it's a little too soon. Where's the tiny bit? Once we got into Nagiso, we popped into a little cafe to grab some toast and iced matcha lattes and just kind of took it easy. Okay, so from this point now, I want to talk about two options that you could take from Nagiso. It was recommended to us either we do about a 9-mile hike through the forest to Nojiri, starting from Nagiso, and we chatted with some hikers who had come down from Nojiri into Nagiso, and they said that the hike was beautiful and took them about 4.5 hours. And then the other option was to do a much shorter hike kind of along the Kiso River to this small post town called Junikane. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So those were the options: 9-mile hike through the forest, really beautiful, but 9 miles, or a much shorter hike that takes you to a small post town that if you were doing the 9-mile hike, you would essentially bypass this small town. And we had been on our trip for a little over a week at that point, and we were so tired, so we just opted to do the shorter hike. On reflection, I totally regret it. I regret it because this shorter hike doesn't follow the true nakasendo trail, but rather a bunch of local roads that run along a main highway that follows the Kiso River. So when we weren't walking along the highway, we were walking through simple roads, and even at one point we wandered through a really long tunnel that was just super creepy, and it wasn't very scenic. You know, but luckily we're of good temperament that as long as we're moving around and we're together, you know, we're having a good time. But it definitely felt like a way longer hike than it was because it just wasn't nearly as beautiful to experience. So if you find yourself in Nagiso and you're on the Nakasendo Trail and you're debating between following the Kiso River and taking the more scenic route through the forest, take the longer scenic route. I know it's 9 miles, but that is actually the true Nakasendo Trail, and following the Kiso River is just a very unpleasant experience. There wasn't much to Junikane, plus by the time we arrived in town, we had to catch the train to Fukushima, and you can catch that train from Nojiri as well. It just like kind of runs through all these post towns. But alas, you know, all our worries melted away as soon as we took a quick 7-minute walk to the Nakanorisan. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Nakanorisan sake brewery. You can do a 3 sake tasting for about 1,100 yen. And it was the perfect way to kind of finish up our trek that day. We also opted to share the fancy special tasting that was an additional 900 yen. It was pretty good, but my favorite was the first of the trio, and it was so good that we treated ourselves to a bottle of it when we left. Then we caught a shuttle to our hotel, Tsutaya, Tokinoyado, Kazari. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That's actually where I'm at right now. And it was our first Ryokan experience of our entire Japan trip. The rooms are spacious, and the highlight is obviously the private onsen that we got to enjoy during the sunset before dinner. The dinner was in the kaiseki, I can't pronounce it, but it's in this style. Dinner was so good. Dare I say it was my favorite meal of the entire trip up until this point. And we dined at 2 Michelin star restaurants, and one of those restaurants was a 2 Michelin star restaurant. It was just so varied and flavorful, and the sushi chef prepared sushi before our eyes, and the egg custard is something that I will be dreaming about for a very, very, very long time. Today, we're going to have some breakfast at the hotel and then get car service to Yabuhara to hike to Narai Juku, which is about 8.5 kilometers. Oh my God, this place is so relaxing. I love it here. I don't want to leave. I think that's the trouble I'm having on this trip, is that we get to a hotel every day hiking and then staying at a hotel, and I just want to stay at the hotel for a little bit more than is scheduled, just because I feel like I'm not really getting to relax. It's like go, 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 go. But you know, how else am I going to see as much of the trail if I'm not moving at a quicker pace? Like, I get it. It's like pros and cons, but definitely something to consider as you plan your hike of the trail. This is the nicest hotel of all the hotels we've stayed at on the trail. It's so beautiful. There's a creek river that runs alongside, and when you pop open the window, you just hear it flowing through the night. It was amazing. However, when we got here, we were shocked to learn that on our casual stroll through Narai, we forgot to pick up our luggage. So we didn't get our luggage transferred to the hotel yesterday. Of all places for it to happen, Japan really is the best place to lose anything, because it's not intuitive to people to try and take something from you. So the hotel was super nice. They were able to find someone to drive our luggage to the hotel. Not to the hotel, to Matsumoto, which is the closest town nearby, and we will pick it up when we are leaving the hotel this morning. So all is well and right in the world. But last night we enjoyed our meal. It was so good, and we did a sake pairing with it. The difference between this hotel and the other hotel, like, this one's clearly nicer, but you don't have your own patio with your own tub. You do have the shared onsen, but the onsen here is beautiful. It's half in, half outdoor, and it was raining last night. So I got to sit in the onsen with the rain sort of trickling down on me from the trees and just watch nature lit up beautifully in the night. It was stunning. So good. If you've ever seen The White Lotus, where the staff is waiting for the arrival of the guests, like, that's how it was here at this hotel, which I've never experienced at a hotel before. But yeah, we're ending our Nakasendo trail here. And I wrote down a couple of things, if you've made it this far in the video, some logistical things I think are really important for you to consider if you're gonna do the trail. Okay, first things first, get yourself a pair of waterproof shoes for your hike. I had my Solomons that I actually bought in Japan earlier. I bought them in Tokyo when we first arrived intentionally for the trail. We're here in October. It's supposed to be after monsoon season, but it didn't stop the drizzles, the light rains. Like, it wasn't pelting down on us, but it was definitely very wet, and the ground was wet and slippery. So get some shoes that have good traction on them so that you don't slip and slide all over the cobblestone. If you can, download All Trails. We used it pretty much exclusively for the elevation gain, so we had some sense of awareness of how challenging a hike was gonna be. I do think that's useful for like mental preparation for going on hikes. So download All Trails if you can, and avoid Google Maps. We did not like Google Maps on the trail. It was actually really confusing. It had two different things, something called the Nakasendo Trail and then something called the Old Nakasendo Trail. And it confused us in like at some points on the hike. I would just avoid it altogether if you can. And there's really no need to have Google Maps when you really think about it, because there are signs literally everywhere telling you you are on the Nakasendo Trail and directing you where you are supposed to go. So it's actually, I'm going to argue, it's actually impossible for you to get lost. There's just so much awareness of where to go around you. So if you're worried at all about hiking and finding yourself stuck in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness, I really don't think it's possible. There are also bathrooms everywhere, like literally everywhere. You will not be stressed about having to find a restroom or having to like outdoor use a bathroom. Okay, let's talk how we planned our hike. We chose a self-guided tour through a travel company called Only Lux. I think they're based out of Australia, and I got their contact information from a friend of mine who had forwarded it to me. She hadn't used them, but she had heard good things, so I decided to give it a try. And we had a very positive experience with them. Essentially what they did was we told them how many days we wanted to be on the trail, where we were starting from and where we wanted to end, and then they just booked everything in between. All of our luggage transfers, all of the hotels. So obviously no travel itinerary is gonna be perfect, and there were aspects of our itinerary that were a little frustrating, but beyond that, I really enjoyed using them. And if you have the money to splurge on a trip that is outdoor hikes and then you come to a Ryokan style hotel to enjoy the luxurious amenities, then totally consider using them, because it is definitely a highlight of our trip. A note about the customization of your trip: I would highly consider not moving every night. If you could, stay in one hotel or one location for 2 nights and enjoy the area a little bit. I think that's my one thing. If I can go back and make an adjustment, I would. I love this property, this hotel. I would have liked to have stayed here for 2 nights, or maybe the other hotel for 2 nights. So we would have added an extra day to our trail trip, but that way we would just be able to enjoy the property a little bit more. Like, we got here yesterday around 3 o'clock and we're leaving this morning around 9:30. It's just not enough time to enjoy all of the amenities. Definitely consider that when you're looking to make your plan. Bring a lot of layers, not a lot, bring a couple of layers, particularly a rainproof layer and an umbrella. I used both, the umbrella when we were in the towns and then the rainproof jacket when we were in the forest. I don't know, I liked having the options between the two, so consider that. And that is it. I have to put on the clothes I wore yesterday because we don't have anything else, and we'll pick up our luggage in town before we head into Tokyo to spend the final remaining days of our trip. I had the best time. It was so beautiful and so calming, and I can't believe we're about to go to Tokyo for a few days. I feel like I'm gonna be completely whiplashed. That's just how it goes. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll talk soon.